Okay, this is going to be an instructable on rebuilding this vintage radio battery. It is a 7.5 volt Eveready battery, and I'm going to show you how we make this a functional 7.5 volt battery again for vintage powered tube battery powered radios. The first step is to open this battery up. Using a knife carefully, it's just glued. You separate the cardboard to expose what's inside. Once you have exposed it, this is what you have. And if you're lucky and the battery hasn't degraded too much, it will slip right out. We're going to harvest this connector, taking note of the fact that the smaller hole is the negative. You can see how as this battery aged and degraded, it actually swelled up and broke the straps that were originally there to keep it sandwiched together. So these are the cells that it was built with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cells, which are 1.5 volts each. 1.5 times 5, 7.5. And we're going to do the same thing here. I've taken a dead battery. This battery is no good. I'm going to wrap this dead battery in foil to make a block for one of these connections here and install 5 known good batteries. There is my blocker installed. When doing this, make sure you're using a dead battery. Otherwise, this foil is going to get hot, really hot. We now have our 5 new cells installed. And as you can see on the 7.5 volt scale, we are showing good. Because this will be installed inside of something else, I've added a piece of tape so that if this is dropped or jarred, these batteries don't dislodge and make it necessary for us to reopen that package to reinsert these batteries into this holder. If you were to drop this right now, these batteries would stay in there, but without that piece of tape, they may pop out. So I've insulated the original wires with heat shrink. I'm actually going to solder them on there because with the connector, the snap connector that I have, this particular snap connector, look how thick it is. If I get that to focus, it's too thick. So I'm going to eliminate that. I'm going to solder. When you solder something like that, you got to be quick and careful because you're dealing with plastic, which will melt. I've spoken to you guys about this before on other videos, but when you're doing this kind of thing, a little bit of flux, and pardon the way the video is going right now because I have my other hand warming up the iron, but a little bit of flux goes a long way in making this solder quicker. Okay, that was very easy to solder. Let's hope we have the same look on the other side with a quick and easy solder job. Okay, if you notice that's a little bit crooked, that's because of the heat. It melted, but it did make a connection. And that's all that really counts. We have a connection there. It fits quite nicely into the battery. I am going to add some spacers to make sure that this does not move around and stays where it is. Much to the chagrin of my wife, I am a hoarder. Here's a nice piece of foam that I can cut and install in here in my battery as a spacer. Before soldering, before gluing, before anything, you always want to keep checking to make sure that you have a functioning battery. I can now close the box with some sticky glue. And that concludes how we rebuild a Eveready number 717 or neda 9, 7.5 volt filament, what they call A battery. This is a filament battery known as an A battery, and these were used in radios in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And some of the radios that I have actually require one of these. And I have some other ways of powering them up, but I could just plug one of these in and have it look aesthetically correct while working. So that's why we do what we do. Tools of the trade for completing this build. These are hair ties. You can either buy them from Dollar Tree for $1.25 or steal them from your wife and your daughters. I prefer to buy them. And then we have our tacky glue. which is, as this stuff ages, it gets thicker, more vicious, and dries faster. This is an old bottle, and an old bottle is even better. So we're going to glue this together, and then we'll show you the final product. I use a toothpick, and I just kind of roll my glue on. Keep in mind that when these batteries die, you'll have to do this again. You'll have to reopen it. So try not to go crazy with the glue. So there's your finished product in the process of being glued. See how the glue is seeping out there? Don't worry about that. The glue dries clear. Won't see anything unusual when that dries. It dries clear. It'll disappear and dissipate. You won't see that. So there you have it. A completed 7.5 volt A battery, filament battery rebuild using modern alkaline cells, which will last as long or if not longer than the original high capacity cells that were in here, probably longer. And those batteries, when you catch them on sale, very inexpensive. They come out to about 25 cents per cell. So you basically you have under $2 worth of battery in this box here. And they do last a long time. You could also get creative. If you really wanted to, you could install actually a full 6 of the rechargeable type, which are 1.2 volts. Put 6 of them in there, and then you can get yourself a 7.5 volt charger, or a 9 volt charger would actually work, slightly higher voltage, and you could recharge them as needed. You could do that if you really wanted to. You could make this a rechargeable battery. You could. So that would be another option for you if you like. If it's a radio that you're going to be using with any kind of frequency, if you're going to use it a lot. Me, I just like to be able to turn them on and show that they work. I really don't play them. I don't sit there and listen to them. There's not much on AM to listen to, and I do have a converter that will convert a signal into AM so I can listen to Bluetooth or FM using either my phone, streaming from my phone, or streaming from a little FM radio through a transmitter. So I could listen to them full time, but that's not what this is really about. It's just showing that they work. It's just showcasing that these pieces, which are absolutely beautiful. If you look at my videos, you'll see my collection of radios. They're beautiful, they're historical, and they're functional. That's all this is about, showing that they're functional. It's not about actually using them. I'm not going to be taking them to the beach and putting them on a blanket next to me and listening to them or anything like that. So there you have it. And with a little imagination, a little ingenuity, a little thought, you can get these vintage batteries rebuilt using modern day stuff. You just have to think about how you're going to do it and plan something.